Okay, it's not only duck and dive time, it's my You Know See Me hat. And the topic today is what's known as the dark night of the soul. Well, in my experience, there's not just a dark night of the soul, there are multiple dark nights of the soul. Who's going to have a dark night of the soul? Who's going to have multiple dark nights of the soul? I don't know, but you know, see me, and my name is your dark night of the soul. Time to duck and dive. Duck and dive. Auga, auga, dive, dive, dive. Okay, enough of that. It's no fun. A dark night of the soul. What about the apocalypse? Um, no, we're not going to have a worldwide apocalypse. Despite what so many people tell you, they're so hooked into the negativity of it all. Some people say, "You're the most negative person I've ever seen." Oh, I've heard that before. No, it's not true. But the real apocalypse that's written about is nothing to do with the worldwide destruction of the planet. The apocalypse is actually the collapse of your ego. What is an ego? Your ego is a I don't know. Best definition, I don't know. I don't know. What ego isn't is um, okay, the standard thing is ego is what you create for an I. You know, when you learn in English, the letter I means if you're going to say I run, it means what runs I do, and what is running? Well, it's my physical body that's going to run. If I say I run, so the ego has to do with your physical body. And then if the teacher says, "What's your opinion?" My opinion is so me and I are ego because it's my mind that came up with this. I have an opinion, my opinion, me and I to do with this mind and this body is ego. So the apocalypse is when you come to realize that uh, this body and this mind that you have been calling me, and you've been saying I am, you come to the conclusion that you ain't. It's a big mistake. It's a big mistake. It's a big mistake. And that leads to the dark night of the soul, where you have to duck and dive. And then you start really wondering, what the hell is going on here? All this time, I've been saying I have an opinion and I run. And after you have your ego smashed and crashed, you are kind of going, big question mark. What exactly is going on with what I used to call me? What is driving this body mind now that I realize that it really ain't me? Anyway, there's lots of other lectures on this topic. And as far as the dark night of the soul goes, well, what's going to happen to people who um, wake up and realize, well, whether it's my ego or not, my ego has done some things I regret at the minimum, and maybe in some cases some absolutely horrible things that I couldn't forgive in another, but I found it in me. So that's part of the dark night of the soul, is pretty much when you still think that you are a body and a mind. You pretty much still believe that, and then you start looking at what your body mind has been up to all these years, and it all comes back and goes splat in your face like a rotten tomato. The big healing out of what your ego has done to you is to realize, I never was this ego. I was fooled into believing that I was a body and I was an individual mind. I'm still not sure, how it all works, but one thing I do know is I'm not the body and I'm not this human mind. So it's way more complicated. So, whatever is this human mind that I'm terribly upset about, because I've thrown a huge rotten tomato at myself for all the things that I've done, but I didn't do them. It was this ego that did them. And I thought I was the ego, and I thought I was doing it. So, should I feel guilty or not about all the things that I've done when I was being mean to other people? That is only a small part of what a dark night of the soul is all about. In the end, if you've got a good spiritual teacher who can talk you through what I just told you and answer your questions, perhaps you'll get past the horrible feelings around the bad things your ego did to others, maybe even to you, and you'll be able to leapfrog over all of this dark night and turn around and go forward without guilt, without regret, and with the ability to defend yourself, strangely, from others who are attacking you for what you've done. How does that happen? Well, it's mostly a process that happens if someone does come up to you. The words come, and you watch the body mind speak. And you're right there, and sometimes it still feels like it's you that's talking, but, you've kind of learned that it's a very good trick, convincing me that I'm this body mind. And even now, I'm sometimes going, did I say that, or did the body mind say that? Because they're so closely linked. What you are, and I keep telling you on this channel, what you are is simply the awareness of what's going on. You don't speak, you don't move. You are simply watching the movie of your avatar, your person, from the inside, watching it talk, watching it run. But you will still feel what the body feels the same way as you used to. Is it a transition or something else? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know anybody that can answer that question for me. But in the meantime, that's what Dark Night of the Soul is about in some circumstances. In other circumstances, the Dark Night of the Soul is when you lose a loved one. But I'm primarily talking about your ego and dealing with what it's been up to, coming to terms. And then, does your ego disappear? No, not really. The personality keeps going. It's just, it's you watching the personality talk. You're like the Wizard of Oz behind the screen, but you're really not a wizard. You're just another spectator watching from inside.